Hello and welcome to the Million Dollar Speaker Podcast. Hi, I'm Arvee Robinson. I'm the master speaker trainer, international speaker, and author of Speak Up, Get Clients, which is now available on Audible. And of course, your host for the Million Dollar Speaker Podcast. And now this podcast is different from other podcasts. Yes, we interview people. Yes, I teach separately, but it's different because we want to get to the root of what makes a $1 million speaker so that you can become one, and how to reach millions of people and how to make millions doing it. So I interview top speakers in the industry, and I have a very special guest today, Julie Jones. She's an award-winning international speaker, intuitive coach, podcaster, international best-selling author of the book Stop Waiting, Start Living, and with the I have to say a bad word, but Get Shit Done platform. She is a master connector of people who is passionate about supporting purpose-driven entrepreneurs to live their best life now without regrets. As a former police officer and SWAT member, Julie knows that there is no promise of tomorrow, and coaches individuals to face the fear and live in the moment. So Julie is here today to present Stop Waiting and Start Living. So I want you all to just give it up for Julie Jones. Yay! Awesome. Welcome, Julie.
I'm so excited to be here, Arvee.
All right. So good to have you. So good to have you. So, Julie, one of the very first questions I ask all my guests is, what do you think is the number one characteristic of a $1 million speaker?
Be yourself. Like,
Woo.
really be yourself, be authentic, be vulnerable, be true to who you are. You know, I heard from somebody great once, might have been by the name of Arvee Robinson, that everybody has a specific message, right? And everybody is so important with what they have to say. And I just really look at it and say, okay, with your message, put it out there, but be true to who you are. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, right? Because like one of the things that I always love to be is I love to be myself, right? So this is who I am. And like, I love being out there, inspiring people to have fun and be true to who they are. And when you do that and you're true to yourself, your message is going to come out loud and clear.
Love it. Now, for your listeners, what Julie just did is put on some goofy glasses with some goofy eyes in it. And I almost reached down to get my big old glasses because I love it. You got to have fun. You got to be yourself. And if props do it for you, by all means, you bring your props when you speak. So I love that, Julie. So Julie, you are so dynamic. There's so many parts of Julie Jones, and you are doing so much, and you are an international speaker. You're a podcaster, you've got a TV show, you've got all this going on. So I just want to turn the mic over to you right now, Julie, and just tell us a little bit about Julie Jones and what you are up to these days. And Julie, I want to tell you, you made me say a cuss word during your introduction. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Well, and I'm gonna address that right away. Okay, so like the whole cuss word thing, right? Because I'm not a big cusser, although I was a police officer and SWAT member. And so there might have been a little swearing that went along with that. Because I will tell you that it was very interesting. If you talk to people nicely, very, very rarely did they do what you were asking them to do. As soon as you started dropping in some F-bombs, they were listening, right? So it's all in your audience. But that's what I found. I don't usually cuss or do a lot during my presentations, right? Because that's just not who I am. But the idea behind the name of my coaching platform, Get Shit Done, is that because it takes people out of their hypnotic stage.
Got it.
Really, when people are listening in or they're at a networking event, everybody's kind of zoning out, right? People are thinking about what they're going to say next. They're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner. I don't know what people are thinking about, right?
Right.
But as soon as I introduce myself, not only my energy, but I say that word, it snaps people like right out of whatever hypnotic state they're in. And now they pay attention to what I'm saying. Pay
Right.
attention to that one. It's like, see, if you do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, that snaps people out of like, hey, what the heck does she got going on? Like, maybe I need to listen to this, right?
Right. It's the shock factor.
It is the shock factor a little bit. So who am I? Well, I already talked a little bit about it. I'm a former police officer and SWAT member who loves living a life of adventure. So as a police officer, I think maybe that's why I was drawn a little bit to the career, because it was different day to day. I'm also here to tell you that it was a lot of mundane routine and with bits of excitement and adrenaline popping at any given time. Because like how I kind of like to live life, right? I love to say yes and help people say yes to life adventures and life opportunities. Start saying what you get to do versus what you have to do. So I'm an adventure and breakthrough coach. I love to speak and inspire people to live in the moment. One of my passions this year is talking to people about that we're human beings, not human doings. So that's, one of the big things. And then I decided to go ahead and produce a television show this year. So I'm really excited about that. The name of my show is Stop Waiting, Start Living.
Good.
It is going to be on streaming television, and which is one of the new markets that's out there that people are turning their attention to. So I'm really excited about that.
So when does it come out?
Well, I am looking for guests, and I've got several people already booked, and I am going to tape it in Dallas in August. And then the red carpet release is November 3rd.
Woo! November 3rd. So when you say red carpet release, what does that mean? Is that going to be a party? Should I get a plane ticket? What's going on?
Well, yes, you should. And like, look at you already. And for those of people that are listening, Arvee dresses in this beautiful red color. So she's already got her dress ready to go for the red carpet event. So yes, it's going to be a television reveal. So the guests that will be on the show will be in attendance. So they're going to share a little bit about their experience. We're going to have a clip of the television show as it's being released, but it's going to be a very big event that I'm really excited to share with people, and that you too can also either produce a television show or eventually be a guest on my show.
Good. Yes.
Yes, I say yes to life opportunities, right?
Awesome. All right. So Julie, let's talk just for a minute about, and I want to come back to speaking and things like that, but I want to hear how you went from police, and you probably get this question all the time, but how did you go from police, to what you're doing now, to a coach, to an intuitive coach, to getting stuff done coach, to all that lived life? I mean, it just seems a little, like a big transition to me. I don't know, a big leap, I guess I would say. Tell us a little bit about that.
It is a big leap. And I fully acknowledge that. Here's what I know about myself, and we're all in some type of journey.
Right.
And I've always had a heart to serve people. From little on, my parents taught me the importance of giving back and being a volunteer and really helping out those around me. And I've always had that servant's heart. And I really thought that going into law enforcement, that I would be able to do that to a certain degree. I knew that it wasn't always going to be sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, as I like to say.
Right.
But I just realized that there was a lot of negativity, more so than I imagined, and that I really wasn't able to help people the way that I thought. So God always opens up a lot of windows, and I moved from Wisconsin, to where I was a police officer, to Arizona.
Ooh.
And in Arizona, I know it's
that's high. A big leap also.
Yeah, it was a big leap, right? I moved here. I actually moved here with an ex-husband and neither one of us had jobs. Talk about a big leap, right?
Ooh, leap of faith.
Yes. And we were both looking to go back into law enforcement. He did, and I never did because I really knew that there was something else out there for me, but it took a while to figure it out. But several things happened in my life that made me realize this idea that you have to stop waiting and you really have to start living in the moment.
Now,
Was that my mom passed away at the age of 59 from early onset Alzheimer's, and she's been gone 18 years. A month later, my grandmother passed away. So I started having, like all these things that were happening, and I wasn't exactly happy with what I was doing. And I'm like, so what else is out there? Now, I have done so many different things in my entrepreneurial pursuit. I've been a makeup artist and I've been a chiropractic assistant and I've done my own businesses. And in all those businesses, I was always coaching and helping people. And people would always put me in front of a room to speak because I lit up a room and I have a lot of energy. So like I could enroll people and I was engaging and I was funny. So that was why I decided to go ahead and delve into the speaking and coaching. And I've got my noisy coworker. So let me put myself on mute and tell them to be quiet.
Love it. I love it. So we're hearing her little puppy in the background. It's okay. I'm a dog lover and I have my dog right here with me. And, I had to shut the door to make sure. I was like, do I want to put him in his kennel or like have him hang out with me? So he's
I know.
That's okay. And we can edit anything. So that's all good.
Good. Well, they always have to say something, to be part of the show,
Right. Part of the show. I like that. I like that. So talking about law enforcement for a minute, because I love that. And I don't get too many speakers that have been in law enforcement. And of course, I know it's a love-hate relationship, that people have with law enforcers, but we absolutely need people like you and people that serve and all of that. But tell us, because, you command an audience because you're what, 6 something? I don't know how tall are you? I mean, you are tall, so you command an audience. And I'm sure when you were walking the beat, that you commanded attention there. So tell us a little bit, without getting too far into it, but maybe one adventure when you were a police officer. Without divulging names or anything, but what stands out? Maybe hopefully it's a fun thing.
Well, there was so much, and there were times where you were able to have an impact. Like I remember responding to accidents and making sure that people were okay and really being there for them, being able to call people that they needed there to support them or, whatever it was. One of the incidences that really stands in my mind, and I know that in a lot of aspects, somebody was watching over me, is that there was a Saturday night, we were all on patrol. And I remember that everything was happening at once. Like every squad car was responding to something. And I remember that there was a fleeing suspect from an event that I happened to be red lights and siren behind. And so we ended up in a neighborhood. He jumped out of a car and now we're in a foot pursuit, right? Now I'm there by myself. We drove in patrol cars by ourselves, but my responding units, like my backup was coming. But again, everybody was super busy all at the same moment. And I was running after this gentleman and I realized, because it had taken me into a part of the city that was pretty scary.
Ooh.
Not only did I have to be concerned about the person I was chasing, but it was in an area that people really didn't have a lot of respect for police officers at that time. And somebody could have really taken a pot shot at me. And eventually he decided that he didn't want to run anymore. And he went down on his knees and he put his hands up so that I knew that, everything was going to be okay. And then I was able to take him into custody. In the meantime, my backup showed up and I was there, right? And I just knew in that moment, because the adrenaline is pumping, and as a police officer, you know what is expected of you. And like my safety was really second nature because I was also attempting to protect everybody else. And so then once, he was taken into custody, the adrenaline dump happens, you realize the situation that you were in.
Right. And how the danger that it was in. Now, tell us, have you ever thought of or have done, use those stories in your speeches to emphasize a certain point or for training purposes? Because you probably have so many, and I'm a big storyteller and proponent of stories and using things in your life to make a point that create interest, that are different. So you have these different kind of stories. So do you use them, Julie, or have you thought about using them?
Yes, actually, it's very interesting because I do have a video that really makes a point about being knocked down and getting back up again several times. And it was based on my life story of being bullied, as well as being in law enforcement. And I presented it at a Toastmasters meeting. It was my final speech as I was leaving Toastmasters, and everyone had said that it was probably the best presentation that I had ever given.
Beautiful, beautiful, awesome. Well, I would encourage you to continue to develop those stories because, again, stories captivate the hearts of our listeners, and there's a direct line between the heart and the pocketbook. So I encourage you to do that. And it's so different from what other people share. So awesome. So let's get back to our speaking and talk about your speaking for a moment. I know you have the television show coming out, but you're also a podcaster, you said. So tell us a little bit. Do you have your own podcast? And if you do, tell us a little bit about that podcast.
Well, interestingly enough, the name of the podcast is Get Shit Done.
Got it.
And what I love to do is I meet so many inspiring individuals like you, Arvee, and from around the world. And I love to bring people in, and it's really casual conversation. Just like your format, it's really about giving people the opportunity to talk about themselves and share how they inspire others. And it's in those nuggets of information because I don't ever plan on what I'm going to ask people, but I have a way of asking them that I can extract the information and really share and make a difference in people's worlds. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people who listen to my podcast that they just love the energy, but they love that conversational aspect of it because I'm not always a scripted person until it comes sometimes to speaking. Because
Right.
you want to know that you're making an impact and getting a point across. But I have a gift for listening and really being able to showcase people's best talents and their love and passion for what they do.
Beautiful. Excellent. And when is your podcast air and on what platform can we find it?
It comes out every Monday and it's on Apple, Spotify, all the major, podcasting formats, but most people are usually listening to Apple or Spotify. So that's where you can easily find it.
Got it. Got it. And so say the name of it one more time.
The podcast is the Get Shit Done podcast.
All right, you heard it. All right. So let's talk about your coaching. We know about your speaking, your TV show, your podcast, but let's talk about your coaching and how you help people. Because I don't want people to think that all you're doing is speaking, podcast, TV. You really are working with people individually, one-on-one, to help them get that stuff done as well as transform their own lives. So let's talk a little bit about your coaching process and all of that.
Oh, thank you. So I'm an adventure and breakthrough coach, and maybe nobody's ever really heard of what that means. And so I take overwhelmed, overworked, tired people to have more out of life. See, we all have the same amount of time, right? 24 hours a day. And everybody's like, oh gosh, I wish I had more time. You do. It's how are you spending it? and how are you utilizing it? I believe that time is our most valuable asset. We can make more money, we can lose money, we can make more money. Once our time is spent, we don't get it back. And so many people have their head down and they're working, and life is passing them by. I mean, we all say, I used to kind of make fun of my parents and my grandparents who used to say, the older you get, the faster time goes. However, it's true, right? And I don't want people to miss those opportunities in life to do what they really want to be doing. And so I work with people who are thinking about startups, to really take that dream of theirs that they've had for a long time and take it to the next level, or even individuals who are at a certain level in life and in business, and they want to go to the next level. So I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're struggling in business, it's probably a struggle in life as well, and vice versa. And you mentioned earlier about the fact that, intuitive, and I am, because it's twofold. I, as a police officer, learn to kind of read people and know when people are lying to themselves, but I just get this gut feeling that what you're telling me may not be the truth. And I have a very direct, loving way to say, okay, is that really what's going on? Or what is happening that we can shift? And then again, like I love to show people how to have fun and take their life on an adventure. So where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And if you want Julie Jones to go with you, well, it'll be a whole lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if someone wants to plug into you, Julie, and to talk to you about your coaching, how would they do that?
Easiest way is to go to juliejones.biz, and there is a contact tab, and you can contact me about whatever it is that you're looking to talk about. I also have very easily on the front page of my website, just, book a call with me, because that's my gift today is book 30 minutes with me for a Live Out Loud call. And let's just see what's happening, what's going on. Let's connect. I love to connect and collaborate with people. And I always have like $1 million ideas. That's why I switched to coaching, because I used to give it all away for free, right? And I still do. Like these ideas just come out of me, Arvee. And I'm like, ooh, that was $1 million idea. I wonder if they're going to run with it.
Millions. That's what millions. All right. So I encourage everyone to connect with Julie, sign up for her 30-minute Live Out Loud session. Live Out Loud, is that what it's called?
Yep, it's a Live Out Loud call. So
Live Out Loud call, because it's going to be fun. I mean, there's so many strategy sessions that might not be fun and it feels heavy. Not with Julie. She is going to make it fun, and she is going to show you your real true self. So I encourage you to do that. There's no obligation. Just go and meet her. Just meet this woman, meet this woman. So Julie, tell us so that's your gift, the 30-minute free strategy or Live Out Loud session. But tell us, what do you want to leave with our listeners? What's the last bit of brilliance, the last bit of fun that you want to leave our listeners with here today?
I love to share with people that, you are enough, and your dreams and what you really want to do are so important. We all have this purpose and passion that's burning within inside of us. And, so many times we just stop ourselves. We really do. And so let's just, put yourself out there. Like, just say yes to those opportunities. We have so many have tos in life, and I love to show people, and I love to help people do the get tos. Like even on my whiteboard here in my office, when I wrote what I wanted to do in 2022, it's what I get to do, what I get to do.
What you get to do, not what you have to do, what you get to do. Awesome. Julie, it has been such a pleasure and so much fun to be with you for just this brief time. I look forward to future conversations with you, future podcasts, future speaking engagements, and good luck with your TV show. I can't wait to see the first episode. So make sure you connect with Julie, juliejones.biz, right? juliejones.biz. Biz. What a great name, Julie Jones. I mean, that's just right there. It's a great stage name. Awesome. All right, Julie, thank you again for being on the show today. I so much love you and appreciate you and all your bright light and your brilliance. So thank you for sharing your brilliance with us today.
Thank you, Arvee. It's been an honor.
All right. And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week. Bye for now.